In this video, I'm going to be giving a few examples and going in depth as to what the main problem is with David Moyes. If you think it was tactics, you're half right. You get half marks for that. If you think this is summer signings, you're wrong. He was backed in the summer window. The main problem with David Moyes is his favouritism and what comes in hand with that, his arrogance. Favouritism is a big thing with David Moyes. He likes certain players who play a certain way and will stick with them no matter what. This contradicts a previous statement he made where he said that he wanted to create competition. Well, if you wanted to create competition, David, then how come Andrew Cresswell and Mikel Antonio were allowed to play for long stretches at a time, even though they were performing poorly? And the fans saw it. Why was that allowed? There were other options, but he chose to stick with them. It's been the same case this season. Mikel Antonio has again struggled. He's not what he used to be. He's not the player he was 5 years ago. We know that. Maybe even 6 or 7 years ago. To actually give a more fairer assessment. So why was Antonio starting games? Gianluca Scamacca cost £30 million and add-ons from Sassuolo. He was the striker West Ham had been crying out for since Sebastian Haller was sold to Ajax. And while we're on the topic of that, you sold Haller, David, and didn't replace him. You allowed another expensive striker to sit on the bench a lot. And you wouldn't give him game time. He's since gone on to prove you wrong. He's won a league title in the Netherlands. He's become one of Europe's most hot strikers. Gianluca Scamacca arrived at West Ham, being considered one of Italy's biggest footballing prospects. This man rejected PSG and Milan to join West Ham's project. What project does he see right now? A relegation scrap? A manager who has no chemistry within his team? Players who are turning on the manager, and I know that's happening because it's been reported in the West Ham Way podcast. It's sheer arrogance from the manager. And it's wrong. The manager is supposed to be someone with an open door policy, a person of whom the players can talk to about anything at any time. It's clear Moyes does not have an open communication with certain players. For example, Alex Kroll's loan spell at West Ham was marred because of Moyes shutting the Czech international out. Kroll later admitted that he used to cry after training because he really hated his time at the club. That was thanks to the manager who barely spoke to him. If you fall out of favour with David Moyes for whatever reason, you may not even know what you've done wrong. He doesn't sit down and talk it with you. He'll shut you out of the team for long periods at a time. He'll make you sit on the bench while trash players are forced to play in your place. And then you're left wondering, well, I'm here, manager. I'm here. Why am I not playing? And what else does he do? He criticises players in the media. Saïd Benrahma has been one of our better players this season. He's actually saved David Moyes' arse a few times when it didn't and shouldn't have been saved. Last season, Moyes was subbing Benrahma off in games. And there was one incident where Benrahma actually snapped at the manager and was like, what are you doing? Even in one interview, the manager was talking about players speaking English. He said, yeah, Pablo speaks really good English. and he gets on with the players well. So Fornal speaks it really well. Ben Rama, his English isn't that great, but isn't that great actually. Why are you signalling him out and throwing him under the bus because of that? Does what he speaks even matter? He's got other French speakers in the team. That's rude. That's calling people out for nothing. It's going to create a hostile and very toxic environment. It's creating a negative sense of favouritism. I'm just going to start John Doe because John Doe has been my number one for a few years and I still trust him. Antonio has only scored around 7 goals roughly since the 1st of January 2022 in the Premier League. And that's not acceptable for a striker at all. Scamacca had 16 goals in Serie A last season. At the start of his time at West Ham, okay, I got that he had to break into the side, but in the Conference League he was scoring goals. And he finally got a start in the first team. And it worked, and he blossomed. Then he got injured. Fair enough, he couldn't play when he was injured, and he had to work his way back in. He's back to full fitness, so why is he not getting any game time? He's being punished and condemned by the manager for nothing. And if he leaves this club, I'll shake his hand and say, good on you. Good on you, man. Because you're going to go somewhere where you're valued. He starts for any team in Italy, by the way. Go somewhere where you're valued and you're respected. I'll be that same cycle all over again where we're desperately needing a striker. But then we're going to splash money on one. It'll not work out. It'll go somewhere else and be an absolutely unreal player. It never ends. The players seem to have something to say about the manager as well, and even some of the players' families. Lanzini's wife said on Instagram, put Lanzini in and you change the game. Fornal's put an Instagram caption saying, may nothing take away your smile. Areola said something along the lines of, be around those who give off positive energy. Oh, that's probably stabbing at the manager. Areola was getting pissed off because Fabianski was being crap. And Areola's the 5th highest paid goalkeeper in the Premier League, and he was, put on the bench. It's the only chance that Areola's actually now playing because Fabianski's injured. That's all it is. You got to wait at West Ham. You got to wait for someone to get injured to get your starting place. You don't give it to you. You might deserve it, but you're not going to get it to you naturally. The manager's got to change his ways and stop this stubbornness because the players don't trust him. And if there's no trust at this club, we got nothing. It's going to create nastiness, arrogance, and probably a sense of confidence being knocked. I do wonder what these players think about Moyes and what they say about him and this club when they go home after a game. They're saying, I actually probably like this club. I love the fans, but I don't like the people who run it, and I don't like this manager. What's the point of me being here? I'm wasting my time. These players, like Paqueta, Scamacca and Aguerd, have probably been sold a project and a dream, and it's turned into a very sour nightmare. What the hell have I signed up to is going through Gianluca Scamacca's head right now. David Moyes, you have yourself to blame for that. You are being selfish, disrespectful, and damn right rude to your striker. Forget the niceness, forget the David Moyes type player and try something new. It'll reap rewards. Just you see. Just you see.